Guys, today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to make some quick coffee art. So to begin, we just need a little bit of instant coffee. I'm going to show you how to make this coffee paint. So we just need 1 teaspoon of instant coffee and 1 teaspoon of water. And we're just going to mix it until it gets into a liquid form. And that's basically it. Now I've made 3 different variations with 3 different strengths, so I can get 3 different types of stains. This one I had 1-to-1 ratio of coffee to water. This one again is the 1-to-1 ratio, but I'm going to actually add a little bit more of that water in, so it's a little bit of a different strength. And this one was more of a like 1 to 3 or 4 coffee to water ratio. So they're 3 different strengths of coffee. You're just going to mix it. Now I've gone ahead and traced a really light circle with a cup and a pencil. So it gives me an outline of a circle because my art piece will be circular. So the first step is we're just going to grab a normal brush that I use for acrylic painting, and I'm going to use the lightest stain. So I'm going to use the one that has the 3-to-4 ratio of water to coffee, and I'm just going to paint in the background. So I'm just going to grab it. You can see it creates a really beautiful brown stain. And I'm going to use the chiseled edge of the brush to get really close to the edges of the circle. And if I want that even lighter, I can just grab some water, pure water, and just add it right on top of the coffee stain, and it's going to lighten up right on our paper. And I'm using mixed media paper. It's 138 pound thickness, so it should hold this water, the water part in the coffee really nicely. It's always tricky to get to the other side, so I'm going to flip it upside down. Let's paint the whole thing. We're going to layer it with some mountains, and they're going to get successively darker, so we want to build the layers here. So let's just build it all the way down. So we're just going to paint in the whole circle. So basically that is our sky portion. And now we're going to be painting in some rolling mountains that are going to be getting darker as we go downwards. So I'm going to switch up my brush. We want to actually, let's wait for this to dry. I'm going to grab my hair dryer. Now our first layer is nice and dry. We're going to paint in a rolling hill. So this one's going to be the lightest hill in the background. So I'm going to grab my slightly darker stain, which is the 1-to-2 ratio of water to coffee, which is a slightly darker version of this. And I'm just going to grab just a tiny bit to start with, and we're going to paint in a rolling hill. So we're just going to take our brush. And now we're just going to fill it in. And again, if you find it is too dark, because this is going to be the lightest of the 3 or 4 hills, so I'm going to dilute it a little bit more in water. Grab a little bit of water. You can paint so many things with this technique. I was playing around with some doodles. I created some flowers. You can do really nice rainbows. I know rainbows are supposed to be colorful, but these were brown rainbows. My daughter painted a coffee cup. That was very appropriate for this one. It was very cute. So I'm going to pull it all the way down. Go, and then we're going to wait for this to dry. So I'm going to grab my hair dryer. Oh, now what we're going to do is we're going to grab again this medium stain, and we're going to build on it. So I'm going to paint in another rolling hill here. So I'm going to just sketch it in just loosely. I'm just going to paint it in. I'm going to show you in a later step too. We're going to try to add a sun in the sky, because this is a day scene. It's hard to tell when it's all brown, but I'm going to show you a really cool method with this coffee painting with using just water, and it's like almost like a resist method. All right, now we're going to wait for this layer to dry. I'll grab my hair dryer. Okay, so now we're going to, so I'm just grabbing the coffee stain, that's the darkest one. So that was the ratio of like 1 teaspoon of coffee to 1 teaspoon of water. And we're just going to create another rolling hill here. And this one you're going to see it's going to be much darker. That. And we're just going to fill it in. It's a fun actually idea to just grab your coffee in the morning if you're a coffee drinker, put some aside in a bowl, and just see what you create with it. You don't have to make a painting like this. You can just like make doodles. Whatever you would doodle normally with a pen and paper, you can just doodle with a paintbrush. And your morning cup of joe. You can also try this method with, if you're a tea drinker, you can try to make a really steeped tea, you would need black tea to use this method, and use a really steeped pot of tea and see what kind of stains you can come up with just that. Okay, so now we're gonna wait for this to dry. I'm gonna grab my hair dryer. Okay, nice and dry. And I find with this coffee, I'm not sure if it's other coffees too, but when it's dry, there's like a sheen to it, like a nice shiny little glaze, which is like a nice bonus for painting with coffee. Okay, so now we're gonna create our darkest hill at the bottom. So I'm gonna go again and grab my paintbrush and grab that darkest stain we made. And I'm gonna create a mountain just at the bottom here. And then we're going to experiment with that technique I was talking about earlier. See if it works. I tried it before, yesterday or the day before, and it did work, but sometimes, you know, beginner's luck. It works the first time and then it doesn't work the second, so we'll see together if it works. And if you want more ideas, it's incredible what people create with coffee. Just Google coffee painting art and you'll see so many different beautiful art pieces people have made with just coffee. It's really, really incredible. So we're done here, our mountain painting, but now I'm gonna show you, or we're gonna experiment together to see if that resist method works. So to make that stain, or sorry, to make that resist method, we're going to clean off our brush. So we don't want any coffee on it. We just want water. So water and a paintbrush. And we're going to trace in a circle. So I'm gonna just freehand it here, I think. Just gonna go for it. Okay, so I'm just taking some water on my paintbrush and I'm gonna put the circle right over there. So I'm just gonna basically try to lift. All this is doing, I'm just painting water right on top of that dried coffee. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna lift that coffee underneath, because once coffee dries, unlike acrylics, you can take it off. So coffee painting is much like watercolor, where it reactivates once you add water to it. So there we go, see that? And if you want, I have some Q-tips, so I'm just gonna use a Q-tip to grab a little bit more of that coffee. See, it works, yay. You guys are my good luck charm. You can also add stars. So if this was like a night scene, or this can technically be a moon, you can add in little splatter stars and then use a paper towel to lift them. So there's many different things you can do with coffee, painting with coffee. It's a fun creative activity that literally anyone can do. You don't need to buy any paints. If you have instant coffee at home, you can make this art. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick tutorial on how to paint with coffee. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.